Is that little flip necessary?
Yeah, it's badass. Oh, you're fine.
Put it in the game.
You're back up 2 hearts. You're good.
What purpose does it serve? It's awesome. Shut up and do it. Welcome back to Watch the James Don't Play. My name is James. I weigh 100 pounds more than Watson.
And I'm Watson, and I weigh about 10 pounds more than James's dog.
So that'll help you with some images, I guess.
That's your math word problem for the day.
Billy had 45 watermelons.
Billy has addiction issues.
Billy used 12 of them to throw at his friends.
Billy has anger issues.
3 of friends died.
Billy has a felony.
That's all.
A story in 3 acts, people.
That's not even the question. How many watermelons did Billy eat?
Well, that's never told. You know, it's less than 2, right?
He didn't eat any watermelons.
He threw 2, so he obviously didn't eat those. Yeah, but the only concrete thing you can say is not those 2.
I'm gonna try and. Oh, I got a Deku stick, baby.
All right.
Are you familiar with the Deku stick?
You are, clearly.
So anyway, did you ever play? I'm gonna try and dig deep on this one. No, I wanted to catch that fairy in a bottle.
If you gotta dig deep as to whether I played something, the answer is probably no.
So you may have played it. It's gonna harken back to our elementary school computer days.
10 points for use of the word harken. Go on.
Did you ever have one computer for the classroom? There was just the one?
Yeah, it was an Apple II.
Right. This is a little past that. Think 3rd or 4th grade. There are now Windows PCs, but they still use DOS. Mm-hmm. It was complicated.
Mm-hmm. I remember playing Lemmings on a computer like that.
We're going to revisit that. We have to play a song first. So tuck that in the back of your mind. Think about...
I remember launching a game from DOS mode.
Yeah, there was a blue menu and 10 things, and the teacher said, if you touch 9 or 10, I will fucking kill you.
I will end your shit.
All right, up, left, A, right, A. You got that?
This is the Sonata of Awakening?
Yeah, we gotta waken the ground up.
Wow.
Up, left, A, right, A. All right. Up, left. Oh, Jelly Bean. Jelly Bean, you sweet boy. You can do anything you want, but get off of me. Jelly Bean's a dog, by the way.
That's not his cute nickname for me.
A... Oh, I messed it up. What was it again?
Upright.
A.
Go back. Just go back.
I did it.
Just go look it up.
All right. Jelly Bean's a basset hound, and he's very sweet, and he's our...
distracting to both of us, apparently.
Yeah, just drop everything I got.
All right. So what is this doing? Explain to me.
I have to get inside Woodfall Temple. This is the first official dungeon of Majora's Mask.
Or shrine, if you will.
A big shrine, though.
I'm just being mean to the Breath of the Wild players.
Dude, some of the fans in the world, we'll get to that. We're talking about
what
DOS.
are we... Why...
We're talking about...
keep shoving everything... all these things we're talking about, but don't worry, we're not going to talk about them right now.
No.
What do you need to talk about, buddy?
I got to talk about...
What do we got?
It goes back to the word problems. See, I'm circling back.
You're good. Stay on task. Yeah. I'm proud of you.
I'm just barely hanging on, man.
We got this.
There was a game called Math Blasters. It wasn't called Math Blasters though, because Math Blasters was with a little green alien. This was a side-scrolling game.
Okay.
And as you progressed through the game, you had to hit these little boxes, and you would either solve a math problem or you would solve a word problem.
Okay.
And I just turned all the math off.
So it's just word problems only?
No problems whatsoever. I just had to run through the game, collect the stuff, and I won.
Oh, so you just turned it into a basic side-scroller.
I turned it into an actual video game without any stakes, you know? All I had to do was get to the end.
Did you ever get caught?
All the time.
Oh, okay.
So a teacher catches me literally breaking the rules right in front of her, and she goes, "Excuse me, we're not here to play games, we're here to learn." And I said, "I'm here to play games." So she made me turn word problems on as punishment for my transgressions.
I came here to play video games and do word problems, and I turned off the word problems.
Because I just wanted to play video games. And turned on the word problems, and I'm like, all right, this game sucks.
She turns back to you. You're just cocking a shotgun.
I have to look up what it's called, because I bet it's not like what I remember it as.
I remember a lot of Typer Shark. I remember putting a piece of paper over your keyboard and putting your fingers in between that, so you would be forced to memorize the key placement.
I remember the little plastic cover you had to put on the keyboard, so your
plastic cover, loo la la. We had a piece of paper and some Scotch tape.
That's great. Was it like to protect the keyboard from your grossness?
No, you put your fingers on the keys and then you lay the paper over that so you can't see what your fingers are resting on while you're typing, and you have to memorize the key placement so you type faster and you're not staring at your fingers while you type.
Mine was more of a sanitary issue.
Well, how gross were you guys?
Dude, kids are disgusting.
Well, obviously, but like, how extra gross are you guys that didn't even think of that for us?
At this time, I'm a freshman in high school, so there's a lot of bodily fluids that are present at all times.
Hold on, Jellybean has something he wants to say.
Oh, really? What's Jellybean have to say? Tell me now. Jellybean, speaking to the mic, please.
All right, we might have picked up some of his nose. He investigated the microphone.
Sir, can you please speak into the microphone? Oh, sorry.
He's doing great.
I did not do it. Thank you.
He absolutely did it.
Can you imagine being in a court and just saying that into the microphone? That's your star witness case, is that you're going up there going by yourself, representing yourself, going, "It wasn't me. Don't put me in jail."
Your Honor, you're going to hear a lot of talk in the coming days about me having done this. I assure you, I did not.
It wasn't me, man.
The defense rests.
We can literally prove that you did it. Bullshit.
Hearsay. Objection. Overruled.
So yeah, I did a full story. We finished the thought. I played a game. I don't remember what it was called. There were word problems, and I didn't fucking do them.
And you didn't fuck around.
Hell yeah.
Excellent. We also played, we played Oregon Trail. Different points. Like I said, we played Lemmings back then.
The thing that I like the most, that I remember the most fondly, is Gizmos and Gadgets. It's from the Learning Company. So the Learning Company, they made the Carmen Sandiego games.
Okay.
And they also made some other funny little games.
Was there another version of that game that was like a clone of Carmen Sandiego? I'm
sure there were different rip-offs of Carmen Sandiego over the years.
I was thinking if there was like a main one. I can't recall.
The show was dope.
The show was great.
It was hard too. Like, you get to the end of the show, right?
Well,
and let's kind of break it down. Why don't we?
All right. Do you want me to start with why they made the show?
Yeah, that's a good way to start. I like that. Why did they make Carmen Sandiego the game show for children on PBS?
So if you'll recall, funding used to be tied to educational content on television stations. If you wanted the government's money, you had to provide a certain percentage of what would be considered more than just entertainment, but actual education.
Okay.
So they took a look at what kids were struggling with, and one of the big ones that came back was geography. So they went to the drawing board and said, what can we do to make an educational infotainment style program that would focus on geography but make it fun and engaging for kids? And they came back with Carmen Sandiego.
They knocked it out of the park too.
Do you like that? That's your tidbit for today.
I like that. How do you know that? Why do you know that?
I don't know.
Because it sounded like, I have no way to verify anything you said, but it sounded pretty legit.
I have no idea how I know that, but I know that.
That's awesome. I was going to say there's a YouTube channel called, Defunct TV.
Oh, and sure, yeah.
They do some deep dives on old, usually PBS shows and things like that.
They do deep dives on, Disney World rides that I didn't even know existed.
Right.
And stuff like that. They go hard in the paint.
The most recent one I saw on this other YouTube channel that's not ours is probably the Garfield one, about the Garfield ride that just barely happened. And I don't even know how else to say it, but it's basically you walking through a comic book and they go, "Did you like it? It was glow in the dark." I know, it kind of sucks. Sorry about that.
Here's a piece of lasagna.
Yeah. This is just bread, and it's stale.
Shut up. You sound like a real normal right now.
Anyway, so Carmen Sandiego Learning Channel, they made a number of different games. The one that I remember the most is Gizmos and Gadgets and Carmen Sandiego. And you had to walk around in this warehouse, solve different science and math problems to get parts for a vehicle you had to build, like an airplane.
Oh, okay.
And if you answered correctly or answered well, you built a little car, and at the end of it, you raced the bad guy, and usually you won if you weren't a complete moron. It's not like these were hard games, you know?
Well, did they have an option where you could do everything right and still lose? Because that would be the most realistic to life.
I think I remember that happening. A lot of it was, even if you did everything right, sometimes it was a draw.
Good.
Yeah, because again, they were trying to like teach kids that
Realism, kids.
right. Oh, you did everything right. You built your car just the way the game told you to.
That doesn't entitle you to win.
It's a draw, Chief. Get back in line.
That's just how the world works sometimes. All right.
I am really.
So what are you doing right now in this dungeon? As we've been talking about Carmen Sandiego, you're solving a puzzle.
Yeah, I'm trying to
Yeah.
run on autopilot here because dude, it is tough to like focus and solve problems while having a conversation about something completely unrelated.
I mean, I would assume. Watch out for that spider. I would assume that
I seen him.
you know a certain amount of this kind of just by heart, so you wouldn't have to focus that much.
No,
right?
I don't-
Like, I mean, you kind of got this down.
I know what's going on.
All right.
Like this water's painful, but I need to go under here to get the ferry. What if I die? Oh no,
You might.
I might die. Oh no, I'm trapped. This was a mistake.
You
This was a
went the wrong
mistake.
way. You wasted a lot of time there.
This was a mistake.
Get over there. Get over there. Get over there.
Come on.
You got this.
Ha ha!
Quarter of a heart left.
Hell yeah! I can't get hit by anything now.
Yeah.
So the way you're supposed to do that is that in this level you get the bow.
Better. You're just supposed to do that better.
Well, no, you're supposed to get the bow, shoot the bubble, and then use the ferry mast to draw the stray fairy out.
That's hot.
It's clearly not how it went down. I need to find hearts immediately. It's been a long time since I've been on near death in a Zelda game.
Not so cocky now, are you?
Is that little flip necessary?
Yeah. It's badass. Oh, you're
Like-
fine.
Put it in the game.
You're back up 2 hearts. You're good.
What purpose does it serve? It's awesome. Shut up and do it.
All characters in these kind of games jump. Let's have ours stand out a little bit.
Yeah.
Huh? How about that? Make it memorable.
Doge just happened behind us.
Yeah, it happens.
Yeah, we're not in like a. Oh, I shouldn't have done this.
Oh, yeah, you shouldn't have. All right. So
I gotta push this out of
now
the way.
that you've gotten the ferry, what do you keep pushing this around for? What do you got to do now?
I gotta like make a path so I can light my Deku stick, run up the thing, light the torch before it runs out because Deku sticks they run out of juice after a little bit.
You know what you got to do?
What's that?
Take another visit to Criterion Corner.
We do have to do that. You made me watch a movie. Well, you didn't make me,
no, but I did.
but I sure am glad that I saw it.
I did want your opinion on the Cronenberg film The Brood, which is available in the Criterion Collection. You can watch it on HBO Go or Max or whatever they're calling it now.
HBO Max.
Sure.
It's totally on there. There's actually a lot of Cronenberg films on there.
Yeah.
And I was supposed to borrow the DVD from you. I went to your house to borrow the DVD. We hung out for a little bit. I forgot to get the DVD. Mm-hmm. I logged into HBO, did not realize that I have actually... Oh, shit. Not again. That I had actually canceled my subscription. They're like, you can't watch it. And my brain just could not I couldn't figure out why I couldn't watch it.
Yeah.
I was like, why can't I watch it? Let me watch it. I wanted to watch it. I'm like, oh, I didn't pay for it.
Oh, right.
These subscription services that you have and you're subscribed to, about 1 million of them, yeah, they want money. And if you suddenly see the light and decide to cancel one of them,
They don't like that.
They're
as
like-
far as you being able to watch the content.
they're like, yeah, you remember whenever you said you were going to cancel us? Well, your 30 days ran out,
Look
Chief.
who came crawling back.
So I needed to watch The Brood, so I paid for one more month of HBO Max, which is $14.99, and something tells me I'm just going to start doing that again.
Yeah, you should. It's HBO is really a lot more robust than it was whenever it came out. They've got some good stuff on
I
there.
think it's probably my favorite streaming app that's out right now. And boy, I really hope they don't get rid of it. Because it's looking like they might. So I watched The Brood, all kinds of Cronenberg movies on there, and it made me really uncomfortable,
good.
as was the, I guess, plan.
Yeah, it's pretty upsetting.
They're like, no, we don't want you to have a good time watching this.
Not like in a jump scare kind of upsetting way, but yeah, just atmosphere, pacing, mood. It's all pretty unnerving. Just
Sometimes it was a jump scare, man.
well, yeah, sure. There's action sequences and some scary bits, but yeah, the whole thing is designed to make you unsettled from beginning to end, and I appreciate that.
So I'm going to try and... So you already know exactly what the movie's about.
Kinda. I mean, I
you've,
guess.
you've seen it a couple times, right?
I own the Criterion DVD. I've watched it more
Yeah.
than once for sure.
I've seen it a grand total of 1 time, and I had to pause halfway through to go to the bathroom.
Well, that's why you're going to give the report on this.
Right. So movie starts out. At least I'll try to break this down because I have a horrible memory when it comes to like, hey, what did you think about the movie? And I go, I don't know.
I honestly just hit the highlights. What stands out to you?
Movie starts out in some kind of like Scientology-esque day camp, right? Mm-hmm. And clearly there's this expert, right? You can tell who the expert is and who the patient is right away.
Yeah, there's a leader on stage giving what appears to be a very intense lecture.
They're having this back and forth. It's a grown man who clearly has some daddy issues. Heyo.
And he's having a breakdown.
And
he's obviously having some problems.
Cut to audience. It kind of focuses in on one guy in the audience.
So we're watching him watch this unfold.
This is a really upsetting way to start the movie because the scene is extremely intense.
It's very intense.
Therapist guy is calling the man Michelle instead of Michael, which was his actual name, which is what his father used to do.
Basically,
to kind of get him riled up.
Embodying this guy's father to provoke a reaction.
The idea, and you're going to have to fact check me on this, the idea was that I guess to let you relive these moments in your life to kind of reconcile with them, right?
It's not even focused that much on reconciling it. I mean, I guess overall it is to kind of work through your issues, but it's more getting in touch with these emotions to see what kind of physical effects manifest from them.
The goal with this scene, to me anyway, feels like, hey, we're trying to set the tone of this particular character. Mm-hmm. He's important. This is the kind of person that he is. He's an eccentric doctor with some kind of crazy experimental ideas.
Yeah, his name's Hal Raglan in the movie. I wish we had a picture of him to put up because this actor is, I mean, he's an imposing guy.
Yeah, oh yeah.
He does kind of look like everyone's mean dad. You know what I mean? Right down to the outfits and the way he treats people. I mean, he's in charge, right? And he very much acts the authoritative figure. He's at times reassuring and kind of calming, but also very firm and intense.
I can tell that he is truly a man of science because he's kind of sacrificing his patient's sanity to prove a point.
Well, and he's developed this theory that he calls psychoplasmics.
I was going to say plasmids,
Yeah.
But I almost had it. I was going to say psychoplasmids, but I'm like, no, that's Bioshock.
Yeah, that is Bioshock. You are correct, sir.
Bioshock's dope.
So yeah, it deals with the mental disturbances and emotions that people have and how that can change your actual body. It can go from being in your mind to being in the real world.
So, cut to the guy in the audience, and one guy's going, wow, genius.
Another guy
Genius.
just looks kind of intrigued, but also very skeptical and kind of stern about it.
You know what I thought? I thought about it in the way that, like, let's say you go to your friend's first punk rock show, and, like, you're in the audience, and really you just wanted to go hang out with your friend, but your friend's already on stage, so you got to stand there and wait for the show to end, and you're like, I'm not having fun. This guy... Man, I love you, Justin, but you suck on the bass.
Well, and what we immediately learn is our boy is there to kind of confront this guy because his ex-wife is one of this guy's students, patients. It's kind of a blurred line, but she's under his care.
Right. Yeah, patience. We'll go with patience. But
That's what he's
like
presenting them as because this is all through the lens of science, right? He's the scientist who's trying to understand this phenomenon and create data on it, on his research.
Yeah, so he keeps his patients there.
It's pretty secluded. It's Canadian and it's kind of folksy looking, so it's very wood paneled cabins and all that stuff.
A lot of wood.
Yeah.
So anyway, I'm trying to kill these mosquitoes.
So
God, look at these guys. They look awful.
Yeah, you focus on that. I'm going to keep us going through the movie. So while James kills this big bug, what we find out is there's a custody battle between our main character and the woman in the doctor's care.
Shush.
Nasty divorce scenario, and the man wants more custody of his kid.
Bork!
It becomes...
Bork! The entire movie, there's a dog barking in the background. You're like, what is that? What's going on?
Anyway.
Get away from me. Get away from me. Not you. Ah, jeez. This is impossible. There's 4 dogs in my house. We're trying to do a professional podcast here. And Jellybean's like, no, you need to love me. Look how cute I am. So anyway, movie time. Back to the movie. So it's in Canada, right? Free healthcare. The downside of that is that you have weird, eccentric people that are like, yeah, I'll take this government grant to study my weird psychobabble. So psychoplasmics, right?
Psychoplasmics.
Yeah, his wife, or his ex-wife rather, or I guess current wife, he refers to her as his wife in the movie. He's like, this is my wife.
It's
she's
X. It's X.
yeah, okay, but
Yeah.
anyway, they're going through this custody battle, and I
But
guess
it's been fairly recent, so I mean, yeah, they still refer to her as he does. Yeah.
right. And I guess he's just trying to like, hey, I just need to talk to her.
He knows that she's been having severe emotional problems, and he knows that he thinks that having her be with the child to a certain extent can be helpful for her and is a good thing, but he's also worried about the well-being of the child.
Right.
Because he doesn't quite know what's going on at this place. It's very secluded, and after what he sees on stage, especially, and how intense it can be, he's worried now, like, what exactly he's sharing custody with.
Well, he's worried about what his kid's being
That's what I'm
exposed
saying.
to.
Like, is he sharing custody with the wife, or is he sharing custody of his kid with this crazy guy too, who's
Yeah, he's a little nutso. Let's
who's
be honest
running
here.
the show up there? So what kind of environment is this for the kid?
Right. So guy is like, hey, I need to talk to my wife, and doctor says, no, you can't. She's under my care. She's not in a place to speak to you right now. And he's like, great, I'm a grown up, and she is too. We need to have a conversation.
And this movie does a really good job, I think, of really drawing out. You do not meet this woman for a long time.
Right.
I don't think you really meet her at all until the third act
Okay. Yeah.
of the movie. Like, I don't think they ever cut in on her and her treatment, do they?
They do at one point.
And when you get a check in.
It's pretty early on too, because they're like, hey, we want to establish that this woman's real. And that's about all they do.
Yeah, you're right.
They introduce her.
But you're not following her throughout the movie. It's almost exclusively through the husband's point.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah.
They introduced the woman, the mom, right before introducing the mom's mom, the grandmother. Mm-hmm. He's on his way, like, hey, I got to go to work. He's some kind of contractor. He's like, I got to go to work. I got to take care of some stuff. Watch my kid. And she's like, no problem. And she takes a sip of Jim Beam.
Yeah.
And I'm like, ooh, grandma's a drunk.
You like that?
That's a nice touch. Oh, I shouldn't have done that. Oh, no, I made ladders. Cool. Hell yeah.
So the cool thing about you meeting the grandma is that it cuts to, pretty quickly, the grandma being attacked by a small dwarf.
Yeah, they're like getting down to
Like
read a story or
child-type
whatever.
thing.
They hear some commotion in the kitchen. And she's like, you know what? I better check that out.
And it plays out a lot like just a regular, like, oh, it looks like someone's trying to break into their home to rob them or whatever. But nope, it's so much crazier than that.
Right. I wish that's all it was. But nope, there's a whole lot more going on.
So there's these violent attacks that are occurring, and the police finally get a hold of one of these things and autopsy it and find out that it is like this deformed creature that they can't quite tell what all is going on with it.
I really liked that scene. That scene was awesome.
That autopsy scene is pretty dope, right?
So a lot of times in horror movies, at least in the horror movies that I've seen, the monster's kind of a secret. Mm-hmm. They don't want to let anyone like see what's really going on, right? Mm-hmm. Ow. No, I don't want to do that.
You know what it reminded me of? It reminded me of The Thing, where they give you kind of just enough of the kind of clinical talk about the organism for you to kind of go, okay, this is what it is. This is kind of what it does. All right, we got to handle it. Like, go forward with the rest of the movie.
Right, like, yeah, we'll be all right.
Yeah, that's... I feel like I got a decent handle on it, but I still don't know what it is. It's still this crazy thing.
This guy's kind of tough.
Keeps your interest, I think. You find out that they're asexual, colorblind, toothless. They don't have a navel, which is, how are they born then? If they don't have a place for an umbilical cord.
I was describing this movie to my wife, and that was the thing that I kind of focused in on, were the creepy little kids. I was like, yeah, they have like a cleft thing going on, but they don't have a cleft palate. That was clear. That they pointed that out in the movie too. They have a cleft lip, but not a cleft palate. Mm-hmm. So, all right, so these kids are supposed to look like that. I think that's what they were implying by that. They're like, this is not an accident. This is how these children, quote unquote, are supposed to look. My favorite part was how, at one point in the movie, the husband encounters one of the weird little kids, and it just dies.
Yeah.
It keels over, right?
Yeah.
Which is what leads up to the autopsy scene. That's how they gather one of the monsters.
Very unsettling to not have any... Like, it's unlike, vampire, werewolf, like all that kind of established monsters. These monsters clearly are, like, living and dying by their own rule. The movie is setting its own rules for them, and it's interesting, like the little tidbits you find out.
And I love how they describe them running out of juice is that they have this yoke on their back, which you see later in the movie. And when it runs out of gas, that's it.
They're done. Yeah.
Once their yoke on their back that is covered up, which is probably why they wear like little parkas to protect the yolk.
Well, and just think about blending in, you know.
Sure.
It's like the easiest disguise. Like, what's more innocent than a little kid out in the snow in his little jumper and his
Right, like-
snowsuit.
Don't worry, guys. I'm not going to hurt anybody.
It allows them to break into a school and beat a teacher to death.
Right.
In front of her classroom of students, which is a great scene.
Oh, that was incredible. So
Such a good scene.
the reason I liked that scene so much was, it kind of reminded you that the monsters were children. Mm-hmm. The way they attack the teacher, they just have these tiny little hammers and they just start hitting her wherever.
Yeah.
Right. Just all willy nilly. They're not
swinging
really
wild. It's blind rage.
Yeah, they're
you
not.
know?
They're not aiming for anything. They were directed by their brood mother. Ooh, see that?
You know, they're not little assassins. They are very much just kind of a horde of brutality.
Yeah.
And yeah, they're not precise. They just pick up whatever and just go to town.
They're like, yeah,
bludgeon people to death, scratch their faces, all that kind of stuff. It's all very much crimes of passion.
They're tiny monsters, and they were given tiny hammers, and they're like, oh yeah.
And just a prime directive. They are, you know, what you find out later, basically the embodiment of rage.
Right.
Made manifest from this woman. Their brood mother, as you so eloquently put it.
Was it eloquent? I don't think it was. That's the name of the movie, The Brood. She must be the brood mother, right? She's definitely not a den mother. The Girl Scouts would have got rid of her a long time ago.
And that's what the movie's leading towards, is that she has become the star pupil of this crazy doctor. And that's why he's keeping her secluded, obviously, because she's popping out these little crazy kids. She's just budding rage babies to do her bidding.
Come to find out, Doctor knows about it.
Doctor definitely knows about it and is basically nurturing this phenomenon.
And I'm like, you shouldn't do that, buddy.
And it all sort of comes to a head where the father that we've been following and kind of putting all this together through is attempting to get his young daughter back, who's at this point been kidnapped by the brood.
Right.
And he's confronting the mother, who he was at one point married to, had a child with, and is now watching basically bud and reproduce these
weird little kids.
These weird little kids. And, you know, you see her give birth and lick it clean, and he cannot help but, show his disgust, even though he knows that by doing so that she'll become enraged, and then those little kids will attack him or destroy him or, you know.
So she lifts up, like, her parka thing, right? And she's like...
It's not a parka. She's literally wearing like a...
like a shawl or something?
Well, that makes it all seem thick. It's like a sheer just wrap.
I don't know feminine clothing terminology, okay?
You know, it's not a parka, my God.
You're wearing some kind of parka? What are you talking about? It's covering stuff.
Or a sheer nightie.
Poncho. That's what I wanted to say. She's got this poncho-looking thing on, right? And she lifts it up and goes, "Look at my brood!" And I'm like, hell yeah. It was awesome.
Doing what she thinks
Son
is
of a bitch!
the most natural thing in the world by licking this newborn baby, just like you would see, a lion or something in the wild, or even a cow, like lick their newborn clean.
I can just hear the director in the background too, like
more tongue,
Laura. This
it wasn't
scene's
directed by David Lynch.
Laura, this scene's gonna be uncomfortable.
No, it's much more Canadian and polite, much more. Yeah, I think in this scene you're actually going to want to do a lot more physicality with your tongue. Really get in there.
I was thinking more about
Thank you.
So
sorry to interrupt. Yeah, you're doing great.
You have David Cronenberg and David Lynch, right?
Yeah, you went into Lynch mode there.
They get the Davids mixed up, and they're like, "Oh, sorry." So we got David Lynch on today. It'll be fine. It was not fine.
I don't know what any of that means. You lost me.
No, sure you do.
Anyway.
No, sure you do.
Anyway.
You like the hat? It's a big hat. It's funny.
It's funny because it's bigger than a normal hat. So that's kind of the big climax and big scene in the movie is where he finally confronts the mom and blah, blah, blah. They do get away, though. What happens? What happens when he gets away with the daughter?
So he chokes out his ex-wife, right?
He chokes her out.
Hardcore, man. Like, just says... She says something like, "You're just going to have to kill me." And he's like,
And I guess that's what I got to do then.
So strangles his ex-wife to save his daughter. And they get away. Camera zooms in on uneasy child in the car. And she's got tiny buds on her arm.
But boils.
Boils? Okay.
I mean, that's what they're like,
Yeah, they're just like weird
Because I mean, what's a bud?
Like they're gonna go to the dermatologist and be like, "Hey, what's going on here?"
Yeah, and he'll be like, "That's a boil."
That's a boil. We'll lance it off. It's cool.
Yeah. So dun dun dun.
I gotta shoot this guy.
Is the daughter gonna have the same
Where'd he go?
the same thing as her mom? Who knows?
I can't believe they crapped this game out in like 6 months. It's so freaking weird, man.
It's a very weird game.
It's just stuff is just going on. What's going on there, man?
I don't know, but you should definitely kill this guy.
Yeah.
You are running out of time to kill this guy.
Oh, we gotta. All right, we'll kill him. Don't worry.
Kill this guy.
We'll be all right.
Kill this guy.
Whoa!
Wow, he got a turtle mount. That's impressive.
You just gotta pay extra for that.
Yeah.
So if Zelda rules apply, and you know they do, I gotta
Always.
shoot this guy 3 times, and I'll be fine.
Absolutely, you do. Yeah, just
Put the stuff
speed
back
through
on
it.
there,
You got this.
and
So overall, scale of, let's say, 1 to 10.
oh, solid 9, man. I
You really
thoroughly
enjoyed it that much?
Oh, dude, it was awesome.
Oh, that makes me so happy.
It was one of those movies where I was like, why haven't I seen this? I was talking to a guy earlier today, and I was like, he said The Burbs, and I said, hell yeah.
The Burbs are awesome.
The Burbs introduced me to, I was at a pretty,
I guess The Burbs is awesome because it's a singular movie, but it's a plural title.
I was about 10 years old when I saw The Burbs.
Would you say The Lord of the Rings is awesome or The Lord of the Rings are awesome?
Yes. So The Burbs introduced me to 80s live action movies, right?
Sure.
His joke fell flat because I answered it
It wasn't
correctly.
a joke. I just want to know.
Oh, I said yes.
Yes to what?
Yes
I gave
to-
you 2 options.
Yes to your question.
That doesn't make any sense.
Hell
It
yeah.
wasn't a yes or no question. It was an either or question.
All right, we're going to end on that.
Yeah, figure it out.
Go watch The Burbs and go watch The Brood.
Yeah.
Bye.